Good afternoon, welcome to Interesting Talks with Footprints. Hopefully your glass is half full rather than half empty. And don't forget, you can always top it up no matter where you are in life. Look, today we've got our Footprints t-shirts on. These will soon be available for sale. Hopefully you like them. Today's talk is on an interesting subject. I always kind of say that, but today is definitely a very interesting subject. And it's called Making Sense of How You Feel. But it's linked to a theory called the attachment theory, which, to be fair, I'm surprised I've not spoken about it before, because it's like a core theory, and it's not really just a theory. Makes so much sense. I don't even know how anybody could really argue against its validity, because it's what happens to us in our formative years. So obviously when we're born, we come out of the amniotic sac, we come out of the womb, we come into the world, it's bright. It's absolutely scary for any baby, and hence babies cry for two reasons. One, because of the fear factor, and two, to get the mucus out of their nose, out of their lungs, and start to breathe oxygen for the first time. We are affected by how we are also whilst we're in the room, i.e. if the mum is stressed, anxious, or very happy, those chemicals are released into the amniotic sac, and we will definitely take them on board, and it's going to affect how we even come out. So that's the first form of attachment that I would say is taking place. So we're born. So there's 4 different kinds of attachment style that people have in general, just the basic 4, which we're going to look at 3 of them today in quite depth. The 4th one, we won't worry about it, because most people don't develop that one. So the first one we will look at is called the secure attachment. The second one we're going to look at is called the avoidant attachment. And the third one we're going to look at is called the anxious attachment. Now, the secure attachment is when children need consistency. They need to be known that they're loved, that they're needed, and all of their needs are most likely being met. And we need to know that we can rely upon a connection with our caregivers. So if you felt safe and soothed, seen, secure as a baby, as you got slightly older, you acquired your own first coping skills. So you was in a position to have a good coping skill. You internalized the image of your caregiver. They became your secure base. The primary people in your life taught you whether you were safe in the world, and if you did feel safe, you felt calm and cool, and ability as a child and as an adult to share your emotions and your experiences. You learn how to self-soothe, how to take care of yourself. You feel secure in relationships worthy of love. Find dating and friendships manageable. Now they say between 25 to 35% of people have this secure attachment style. Secure attachment style. Now there are many, many reasons why adults may not be in tune with a baby or a child's needs. They may be cruel, intentionally, harmful towards their children, trying their best but still, not quite getting it right. Like that will make us feel insecure. They could be managing their own mental health or physical issues, or repeating the parenting that they got. And if they're repeating the parenting that they got, then obviously it might be well out of tune. It might have been left-sided, and again, that's what you're going to get, and that means you're going to be left-sided too. So repeating what they went through as parents and giving that to yourself, or they could be working 24 hours, 24/7, and just to put food on the table, which kept them away from us. So that meant that had an impact on us because we were not around our caregivers. It could have been our parents, our biological parents, or it could be caregivers. I must put this caveat in there. We are not blaming our parents, and we're not blaming our caregivers. Because if we want to blame anybody, we'd have to go back all the way to Adam and Eve, if that's what you believe in, or all the way into the Serengeti, the monkeys in the Serengeti hundreds of thousands of years ago. Because each generation passes on whatever they know. And there's absolutely no course that I actually am aware of, well there probably are, but there's none that I'm aware of where you get parenting skills psychologically, physically, all rolled into one. And even if you get the course, you're still likely to make mistakes. People will make mistakes. And also, going back to secure attachment, if secure babies, secure children, see their parents or their caregivers making mistakes, and the parents or the caregivers is able to explain to the child, look, life is like that, I made mistakes, I'm sorry, I really should have let you have one more ice cream, shouldn't have just let you have one a week. You know, something like that. Just simple statement. That will give that child the ability to understand that, yes, adults make mistakes. These big people make mistakes. So I'm allowed to make mistakes, and I don't need to chastise myself if I do. Now, the next attachment we're going to look at is called the avoidant attachment. And this comes from where we can predictably know that our parents will not meet our needs. You have an avoidant attachment from this. No one comes if you cried. You felt consistently rejected or dismissed. Anytime you showed emotion or looked for closeness or comfort, you were told you're just tired, or get on with it. This is what I've had clients said this to me, that they went to their parents under distress and they were told, just get on with it, or you're tired, that's the reason why you're feeling emotional. I mean, it sounds like, why, how could any parent say that? But at the end of the day, this is what happens, and this is how attachment is formed. We have to be around our caregivers because we cannot survive as infants up until the age of about 10 years of age. So we know instinctively that we need to be around these adults. So we will do anything we can to stay around them, no matter how badly they treat us. So if you're told you're just tired or just get over it, it's not the best answer to do, especially when you're struggling and you're asking for help. As a child, you have high needs as a child. And if you've got these feelings, then you're going to have high levels of anxiety. So you're going to have, this is how you're going to form your avoidant attachment, because anxiety is high in your brain. So you learn to suppress your emotions, as when you need to be soothed, there's no needs, your needs are not being met. That's scary. And all of these conditions lead onto a natural fallback position in your adulthood. Subconsciously, not consciously, but subconsciously. The next one we're going to look at is anxious attachment style. Now, anxious attachment style develops from one or more of your caregivers, is unpredictable in meeting your needs. Sometimes they meet your needs, and other times they miss it by a country mile. So you begin to wonder, do they care or do they not care? So that really leads you into a difficult position, because you learn not to trust adults. They make loaded statements like, I've thrown you a birthday party for you, so please make sure it act well so that I look good. A parent saying that to a child. Or, I'm struggling right now, soothe me. I know that you want to see your friends, but I need you more. We learn from this that people cannot be trusted, so we don't trust them. And if we don't trust our caregivers, then of course internally we're going to find it really difficult and anxious around other people as we grow older. First formatively with our cognitive behaviour, but always subconsciously we're always going to go back to that position. You can't trust people. Now, do these conditions sound familiar to you? Now, these develop from when we're in a family environment, and you could be the mediator of the family, sitting between arguing caregivers, trying to diffuse arguments. Does that happen to you? Did that happen to you in your childhood? Are you that kind of person now? The protector of family disputes? Or are you the funny one, always clowning around to make sure that disputes are settled by people laughing and connecting back that way? Or are you the enabler, where one of your parents or both of your parents were substance abusers or heavy alcohol drinkers? Or were you the golden child that had to get everything right, everything perfect, and if you didn't, there's massive disasters? So as you can see from this brief outline of what an attachment style looks like, what an attachment style sounds like, how that can affect how you feel, making sense of how you feel. Because lots of us, it might not affect us. We might be able to go through our lives quite calmly and not have any major outcomes from our attachment style. Obviously, everybody would like to have the secure attachment, because then you do flow through life. You find it really easy to meet people, easy to talk about your emotions, feel really comfortable in situations, expressing yourself, making friends, dating, the whole 9 yards. You're in a better position. Yeah? But as I said, only 25 to 35% of people have that attachment style, if that. Most of us have got a disorganized attachment style, not a disorganized attachment style, that's a very, very rare one, but that is also one. We've got an anxious attachment style or an avoidant attachment style. So we get anxious in situations. So some people suffer from generalized anxiety. They're always anxious in lots of different situations. Some things might trigger it, and it might be valid to be anxious. Others have an avoidant attachment style, which they avoid everything that's potentially threatening. And that comes from what they've experienced in their childhood. Hopefully you've got a better understanding of your attachment style now. There are books out there that you can look at to find out what you think your attachment style is and how it works in your life, and how you can change how you work with your attachment style so it doesn't hinder you. It doesn't stop you from living a full life. Because, you know, as I always say, life is not a dress rehearsal. We get one crack at this thing. And if we feel that we're sort of basically held back, handicapped in some situations due to our personality traits that we've built up from our childhood, then there's ways to address it. You could see a therapist, you could see a psychotherapist, or you know, in other cases, some people could take medication that would help them to deal with things like anxiety. You know, so until 2 weeks' time, do take care of yourself. Try to stay positive. Leave comments on this. Tell me what you think about what your attachment style might be. If you want some literature to get hold of, I'm not going to sell other people's books online here today, but if you contact me, I'll give you links with some books that I use for clients for them to discover their attachment style, so that then obviously when I'm working with them, we can see what their go-to attachment style is. And believe you me, it's really, really powerful stuff. It really does make the difference in people's life when they discover their attachment style. Then they understand why they've always been a people pleaser. Then they understand why they get into relationships, and when they're getting close to in the relationship, they throw the person away. They reject the person because they have fear of being rejected, and that comes from an avoidant attachment style. Anyway, do take care of yourself. See you in 2 weeks' time. Bye for now.